So it's Saturday. Why am I starting the vlog on a Saturday? Because I'm an inconsistent person and every time I tried to do it during the week I just fell off. But I guess I am also doing it to emphasize that there is a life beyond my PhD and that the weekends are great opportunities to engage in things that you love and care about, and sometimes to just get your life together. What I am doing today, because I haven't done it still despite having left for summer ages ago, is finishing my unpacking. So I unpacked pretty much everything apart from all my papers and documents. Now most of my folders for my PhD are on my computer or on my laptop anyway, so it's not too big of a problem, but what I do have is a mix of kind of like health and security documents, like hospital letters, bank letters, training documents. So for any jobs I have, you usually have a guide to doing that job, and I like to have that on hand, particularly when it comes to student support and pastoral issues. A mix of kind of stickers, cards and pieces of art, some scrap paper that I can reuse, some scrap paper that I have used and now have notes kind of all over the place, some notebooks I haven't used, and I just want to kind of rearrange that so that my desk setup is much clearer, which also means going back to my desk and seeing what's in there, seeing what needs to go, how it can be organised. So that is my task for this morning. I already went to the gym, which was really nice. It was really quiet. I'm so happy I just kind of like woke up on time to be able to go in the morning. And there are no kind of official plans for the weekend, but I want to watch a few movies on Disney Plus that have come out recently, particularly Marvel movies, and just, yeah, take it slow. I have a few things scheduled tomorrow that are a bit more like social, but still very much a restful weekend. Okay, so I have done like 80% of the work organising this. I will do like a 2-minute tour, but I will warn you, I'm not a tech person, so this is very, very basic. Of course, there are loads of products I would love to one day have, including a standing desk, but this is what we are working with. So I have my screen and my laptop, which I normally use together. As you can see, they're connected. I've got some stress balls, some post-it notes. I keep my pens, highlighters, etc. in this little, I guess it actually used to be a candle. I have my coasters for when I have hot and cold drinks while I'm working, my highlighter, my lamp, and this wonderful pin that Pippa gave me. I do have a spare desktop here, which I got when the university were just getting rid of them. I don't really use it, so I'm thinking of giving it to some family members. Got some spare glasses because my prescription hasn't changed in a while, so it's just good to have them on hand. My headphones, these are the headphones I use for kind of everyday stuff, including listening to music, and then these are my headphones with a microphone for when I'm doing text-to-speech. So in terms of accessibility software, I sometimes talk instead of type. I have my academic poster and I just didn't know where to put it, so I slotted it here. Yeah, I don't know, I feel like it's really good to keep, but obviously weird to display in your house. So that's that. Got my ergonomic mouse, etc. And then what we have done under here, again, I'm not a tech person, so like, I'm sorry if all these wires are stressful. I have this, well, more pens, some glasses and screen cleaner. Tucked away here I have some colourful pens which I haven't cracked open because I haven't done any kind of revision stuff, so sorry, this is so bad. These I was gifted when I left the job and I think they're so cute, but I haven't opened them yet. And then these I used quite a bit while I was studying for my masters. Sorry about the blurriness. They're really, really handy pens, and good for like revision materials and planning. I think now that I have organised everything, I will probably do a lot more analogue stuff and a lot more pen to paper basically. In this basket I keep all my stationery, so that includes post-it notes, any further pens, hole punch. A lot of my tech equipment is in there, so things like my hard drive, a lot of kind of converter cables, if that's what we call them, a few kind of ready-made bags that I can just take with me if I'm studying away. So one is, I also have my scrap paper. One is this with loads of pens and pencils that I can easily slot into my bag. One is also this, which has loads of kind of hygiene items. So I've got hand sanitizer in there, COVID masks, wipes, things like that, a few pens as well. Again, just like things that are easy to pick up and throw into your bag, and they're pre-packed, which is helpful. Yeah, some safety pins, or sorry, not safety pins. What do you call them? Paper clips. Post-it notes, blue tack, sellotape, etc., etc. I don't have to use this as much. Some folders in here that I want to return to, hence having them nearby rather than put somewhere else. In this first shoebox, I've got notebooks which haven't been used yet, so I can come back to them. And in here, I have more tech things such as spare chargers, wires, headphone cables, etc. Here I've got things that I want to go back to, so again, loads of like training documents, some really cool Excel kind of cheat sheets, I guess, as well as some nice things such as this book where I write down things like chord progressions and music that I want to practice playing, and then these really nice affirmation cards that I don't have on display anymore, but what I would like to do is just pick them up and kind of select one for the day. Camera ring, and then my bags including a laptop case. I also have this magazine holder which is currently empty, so I'm thinking once I've sorted through some papers, what I'll keep in there is kind of work I'm looking at that week, so that will be my kind of go-to on a regular basis magazine holder. Obviously this is not very aesthetic, it's not super like, I don't know, I don't look like a gamer girl or anything like that, but I guess it just shows you can work with what you have. You don't necessarily have to go on Amazon and get all the kind of clear drawers and stuff like that. Just start with what you have and organize however you can, even if it means using shoeboxes. In the meantime, I need to sort through all of these. So this is a mix of used notebooks that I want to just check through before I get rid of them. Some stuff I picked up at a careers fair but hadn't yet returned to. And mostly stuff that I'm working on at the moment, so I just want to arrange that, make sure it has somewhere to live. It's Sunday morning and today is set to be a very chill day. I literally don't have anything scheduled apart from I'm going to take my first piano lesson, which I'm excited about. I'm a bit nervous. I haven't had any real music lessons before, apart from at school where I did singing, and that was because I did music GCSE. So this feels very new. I just want to play around at home first so that I feel a bit more confident going in, but I'll see what it's like and see if it's something I want to continue. Aside from that, there isn't much going on today, which is quite nice. Like, I guess it'll be a chill at home day. Yesterday was nice, but the weather was just so bad out of nowhere. So we went to a food market that was happening, but then it just started pouring. So we picked up some desserts on the way home and then watched Guardians of the Galaxy, which I hadn't seen yet because I just didn't watch it in cinema. Recently came out on Disney Plus. So it was a nice chill Saturday, and even with my kind of like organising the pile of stuff that's PhD related, I'm just not touching until the week actually starts. So on the whole, feeling good. Now just going to play around with this and hope that the lesson goes well later on. It's Monday morning. I have been to the gym. I'm still in my gym clothes. Yeah, I have a meeting in about 15 minutes, so I'm probably going to have that meeting, which is a mentoring session for an hour, and then after that I'll like change and get ready for the day. It's pretty grey. In fact, it's just, yeah, it's like grey and wet and pretty bleak. I think I'm going to work at home. Although I did discover that I can go to my local uni library, which is really handy. But yeah, I think this week there will be a lot of working from home. Yeah, I can see how I feel in the afternoon after lunch, but yeah, I think it's best to stay put. Not necessarily best, but I think I'm just quite comfortable at the moment and I don't necessarily want to change that. I feel quite focused. I think my fear is that if I go to the uni library, I'll really struggle to leave and stop working. Whereas being at home and having my partner come home feels like a very definite end to the work day. That being said, I could do much better at just practice and self-control. I have really benefited from having alarms on my phone, and that's really helped me with basically kind of doing block work. So my first block starts at 10 till about 11:15, and an alarm will go off for when I need to start and stop. Same with the second block, same for a lunch break, all the way up until about 4:30 when I start my wind down. And as part of that wind down routine, I have started to clean up my references, to plan the next day, to write any reflections in my research journal, and then I should be finished by 5 basically. That's what we're doing, that's how it's going. I'm trying to engage more in hobbies, particularly based around music and learning instruments, and to do so in a non-stressful way. So not having ridiculous expectations of myself apart from just spending the time. Like if I do have a goal, I think it's just I spend the time on it. What happens within that time, I don't really care. It's a bit like writing. Once you start, you are just quite happy to continue and enjoy it. But if there's pressure to like learn a specific piece or yeah, meet a target that isn't just play, it can get a bit stressful. So that's what my week is looking like. Again, I will be recording as I go along. I think over the weekend I didn't record as much. One, because it really was just like an at-home weekend. And two, I guess just like living with my partner, I don't necessarily want to be enjoying like a movie with him and then be like, oh, by the way, I'm gonna like take my camera out and record us both or anything like that. So yeah, it was a nice chill weekend. Looking forward to the week ahead. Feeling much more focused in terms of the work I have to do. I met with my supervisor. I know what I'm doing for the systematic review, so that's definitely something I'll talk about as I go through it. Morning, it's Tuesday. I'm gonna head to the gym, go do some squats. I'm gonna come back, shower, have a meeting at 10:30. Both the meeting I had yesterday and the meeting I have today are part of the kind of mentoring support I get as part of the, I guess, like disabled students allowance that I have. So apart from those, like my calendar has been extremely free. I haven't really had any kind of meetings or anything like that. I have had like a few supervisions, but it really is just like a blank timetable where you fill it out yourself, you make your own schedule and you work at your own pace. So it's been nice having those in place to kind of make me feel like I have a check-in point on a regular basis. I know what I'm doing, etc, etc. But yeah, I've got that meeting in the morning, so I'll come back, have breakfast, shower, etc. Do that, have some lunch, and my arm is getting so tired. Something I am considering doing is basically each day maybe working from home in the morning and then walking to the library after having my lunch and working there till like the end of the day. Yeah, I might trial that today, see what it's like, particularly because I don't have any plans this evening, so I don't necessarily feel like I'll be rushing back home to like get changed for something or anything like that. So yeah, I will let you know how that goes. So I finished my mentoring meeting and don't have any more meetings for the day. It's about an hour until lunchtime. What I'm going to do is get on with my systematic review. I said I was going to have lunch, then walk to a library, but I am reconsidering that because of the benefit of having two screens. The search for systematic reviews is extremely boring. This is my first time doing a systematic review. In my opinion, it's not really something you do unless you're maybe like a research assistant or working at a PhD level. Maybe people have done it at undergraduate and master's level, I really don't know, but I don't think many people have done it, particularly within like the social sciences or the humanities. It seems like it's much more common in like, I guess, yeah, science, STEM, whatever. Yeah, I'm reconsidering it because I think it's just so much better to have two screens and to copy across like titles, abstracts, etc. Yeah, what I'm finding really difficult about it at the moment is with my key terms. So terms such as like social mobility, higher education, I'm getting a lot of papers about international mobility, despite putting quotations around social mobility. And yeah, it just means I am getting a lot of irrelevant papers. I am having to filter through a lot. I'm sure that's really common when it comes to systematic reviews, but it's just quite annoying. And it means although I get so many results and it looks like, oh yeah, wow, there are 900 papers all relevant to these search terms, there really aren't. Like there are so few, probably not even 10% of those will actually like meet my criteria. So it's just quite a long task, and it might be better to work at home, have two screens, and perhaps just be able to play music out loud. What I might do is go to a library at another point this week because I still want to trial that system, and use that time to finally submit my registration report, which I can finally do. So I'm really excited to do that. I think I'll just read through it one more time, but honestly, I'm emotionally over that piece of work. It has really been sitting there for a long time, not getting much attention. Maybe it will be a nice break and I'll be in the headspace to re-engage with it, but honestly, I'm over it and it needs to go. And I guess, like, unfortunately, it's just really hard to celebrate having submitted it. Obviously, I still haven't, but I feel like it's difficult to celebrate that submission when it's so much later than it was ever intended to be. But yeah, I'll let you know how today goes. Hopefully I will get some more relevant papers and not have to filter as much. What is quite nice is that the Education Library offer just like one-to-one sessions if you need any support. So I'm going to chat to them a bit about my terms and about the potential of using the not function. So maybe I'll do a video on this, but there are particular like search terms and keywords, and you can use not to ensure that you aren't getting papers on particular things if your search tends to generate that. And that may be the case for me with international mobility. So yeah, I will get on with that, have lunch in a bit. This is so lame, but with a certain number of, or with a particular set of research strings and some filters, I came up as number one. I'm joking, but it was kind of funny and it's weird because it makes me feel like I am doing the same thing and like not leaving my comfort zone, but then it also was very affirming in that I'm like, yes, this is what I'm here to do, this is what I research, and I just thought I'd share that moment. Yeah, this is it. I reduced my terms to remove things like working class socioeconomic status and I can't remember what the other terms were, which is weird because you think this would be less likely to come up when those are removed. And then I edited the dates and then chose the country, and I was number 1, and I was like, oh, I don't know, it's cute. Okay, it's time for lunch, but before that, I'm gonna submit my registration report. I am very much over it. I don't even have like the energy to do a full proofread. I know, like I did a search to see if there was anything missing, if there's anything I had like left highlighted or had commented on and left like TBC or anything like that, and there is nothing, and that is because I was meant to do this ages ago. I did the work, I had it ready to go, so I know that there's nothing more I can do now, and really there's just nothing left in me. So I'm gonna upload it now to Moodle, have lunch and go. I think this is like really bittersweet in that obviously I'm really happy it's going, but it's the 15th of April and I wanted to submit this on the 30th of June, and the circumstances that stopped me from submitting on time were very much out of my control. So it's really hard to celebrate and it's really hard to feel good about it. Obviously I do feel proud of myself, but I think I've been so stressed about the circumstances that yeah, it's really hard to feel like happy and excited now, but I'm gonna do it and it's done. Even if my Viva isn't until October, which I think is very much the case, this is done, it's out the way. I did all I could and I respect myself for that. So yeah, gonna submit now. Okay, cool. That email sound is yes, a notification that I have submitted it, so that's very good. I just have to send an email for some reason to finalize it. Yeah, I think that's just them making sure everything's in order, so I'm gonna do that and then cook some lunch. So I did some keyboard practice, which was fun. It's like 7:45, so I'm gonna make some dinner, unwind for the evening, yeah, and just chill out. I don't think I did a debrief after the library. I could not record there because it was way busier. Okay, it wasn't that busy, but there was no kind of empty corner where I could discreetly turn on a camera. So I didn't record, just recorded parts of my journey home, and yeah, came back, practiced the keyboard, which I am super basic at. I think I mentioned I was going to go to a lesson. It was good, the person was nice. I just have to not be frustrated at being a complete beginner, which is fine. I am good at things I know I'm bad at. I am much more chaotic and judgmental and tough on myself at things that I believe I should be good at. And music is, I don't have high expectations of myself in certain fields, and music is one of them. So yeah, that has been nice. Library was relatively busy, but not busy in a term time way, just busy enough that I didn't feel like it was appropriate to whip out a camera. But it was a nice method. I really liked working there after lunch. It was good to get a walk in. And yeah, I just did some further organising of the kind of papers or the search that I downloaded for the systematic review. On reflection, having used this education search engine specifically, I'm not getting that many relevant papers, so I'm hoping that when I move to a different search engine, I'll get way more that fit the criteria for my systematic review, but we shall see how that goes tomorrow. Back from the gym, very gross and sweaty. I did back day today. I am going to put on a wash since I'm working from home, just to get that out of the way, and I think I'm going to make some protein pancakes because that's what I feel like. Then I'm going to shower, get ready for the day, log on. I don't really have any meetings until after lunch, where I have an appointment with the library. I'm not sure if it's confirmed, but basically they're going to help me with my systematic review search and just give me any kind of answer any questions I have and give me any tips on the search engines I'm using and all of that stuff. Okay, so all my complaints about downloading on this search engine called Eric, which is specifically for educational research, and filtering through like 200 plus only to get about 10 papers, all of that is out the window. I have used Scopus today, which is another search engine and way bigger than education, and even with some filters applied, including dates, language, etc. I got 32,000 plus. Trying to download it, the most you can do is download the first 20,000. So I sorted them by relevance because, you know, I just want to make my life easier. I'm gonna go through them now, but it just, yeah, it feels like it's all changed. There's loads. I'm gonna make sure I take breaks because I don't have the attention span to kind of keep reading through each abstract and making an accurate like decision about inclusion or relevance. So yeah, just wish me luck as I undergo this task. This is the document. It's 11:40. We're on article like 37. Because I sorted by relevance, I'm obviously taking much longer. The articles at the top of the list are much more relevant. I'm reading them in much more detail. So yeah, we're just going to continue with that and see how it goes. I was cooking lunch and yeah, I just lost track of time. So there's literally 5 minutes until my meeting with the library and my food is still cooking. It's fine. I'm going to put it on like a really low heat, let it simmer because it's nowhere near ready anyway. But yeah, just trying to regain control of the day, still doing the search, it's going fine, obviously slow, that's fine. I think with this meeting, and because I have boxing this evening, probably won't go to the uni library, but yeah, I think I'm just cool with that. I'm quite comfortable at home. I can kind of stand up when I need to, control my environment a bit more, and yeah, so I'm gonna turn this down and prepare for that Teams meeting. I have spent so much time talking to this camera. It's so weird. I'm really enjoying vlogging, but I feel a bit like, I don't know, someone on like a desert island recording like their means of survival or whatever. Anyway, I met with one of the librarians who offered some really helpful advice. That being said, it was like helpful but frustrating in that sometimes the solution to your problem is starting again, but you don't want to start again. And she was just like, you know, have a bit more of a play around with your terms, particularly since going on Scopus today and finding like there are so many papers that supposedly, you know, come under like the terms I've used. Because she was like, on a search engine like Scopus that draws from every single discipline, some of your terms are so vague that you will be overwhelmed with the number of papers you get. Having got 32,000, I think that is definitely the case. So I am going to still keep what I've got. It's important to keep everything, record everything and whatnot, but I'm going to play around with Scopus, with my terms, to see if I can narrow it down. I think I got to over 100 or something like that of the papers I looked at, but we can pause it there. I can make it clear where I stopped, start again with more specific terms, and yeah, hope I can narrow it down. That being said, as much as I'm complaining about all the papers I found, some of them are looking really good. So yeah, I haven't wasted time, but I feel like I've wasted time. It is what it is. I'm gonna have my lunch now. I still feel like I'm gonna stay home, but I feel content with that decision. I think having had this meeting, I feel a lot more energized. So yeah, it's all good. And I have boxing this evening, so it's not like I'm not going to see people today. But yeah. So I've just started the final kind of time block for the day. I normally have about 4, but I kind of just didn't do the third one. What happened was I was running late with lunch, then had that meeting with the library, and then went back to, well, eating my lunch basically. So I haven't really done any work since before then. What I plan to do for the rest of the day is I'm going to use this block to just, what I've done now is typed up the notes from that session with the library. And now I'm going to, sorry, my brain is all over the place. I'm going to play around with the search terms on really big search engines like Scopus or Web of Science, and try to come up with a new set of strings basically. I am not going to delete any of the work I've done. I'm going to keep it and come back to it as and when I need it. But I'm going to see if there are better ways to do this search so that I don't end up with over 20,000, over 30,000, whatever papers. What was quite helpful was the librarian spoke a lot about contextualizing some of the terms, so making sure they're so specific, so that the papers that are generated from the search pertain to the subject. She also just spoke about not using Google Scholar, so that's helpful to know. And that's something I said I would do in my registration report, so now I know that because I have submitted it. When I go to that Viva, that will be a change that I have kind of already made, and I have to be prepared to talk about how much has changed since I submitted it. But yeah, gonna spend from now till about 4:30ish playing around with different terms and refining what my search terms will be. I will probably work a bit over 5. 1, because I just didn't really do any other work this afternoon, and 2, because my partner is currently working on call, so it's not like anyone will be home. So I might, if I go over, just spend some time doing some more laid back work. It's not really laid back, I just perceive it as more fun, but work around like writing, blogging, and thinking about my subject outside of my PhD, so whether that's like journal articles, writing for more like general audiences. I'm going to look into some of that for the rest of the evening. So yeah, going to get on with that. I think for my evening more generally, I might tidy up a bit. My brother and my sister-in-law are stopping by, so I just want to make sure the house is presentable. And then I will get ready for boxing. So just to show how ridiculous things are getting, I thought, okay, before I narrow down my search, let me just see what happens when I go on Web of Science. Let me see if they are generating similar numbers to Scopus, which was about 32,000. We are in the millions. Like, how? Why? Yeah. And this is... Okay, yes. This is after applying filters. So I've applied the dates. I made sure that they're all articles. Yeah, even if I applied like open access, you can see it'd be 2 million. Like, I didn't record this morning because I had to charge this battery. I then had to empty the disk because the memory was full. But it was, yeah, I guess a normal morning, all I did was tidy the house. I didn't go to the gym. My brother and my sister-in-law are arriving soon, so I'm gonna go and meet them, and probably get lunch. But before that, all I've been doing is a systematic review, which I'll be honest, I'm not enjoying. Obviously that's because I'm in the filtering stage and all I'm doing is like reading titles and abstracts and titles and abstracts, and I don't think I'm confident enough in my searches or my search terms to really make the best decisions to make it easier for myself. I think I do have this kind of constant worry that I'm going to miss something really important, but I'm hoping that's a task I can finish today. Just not filtering through everything, but just with this particular search, getting rid of things that are completely irrelevant. So things that I can spot very quickly based on the country they're in, based on the methods they use, I can just like throw aside and then look at a smaller kind of selection with a bit more detail and attention. So that is a plan. Yeah, it's not fun, but it has to be done, and it will be enjoyable when I get to do the actual reading. But right now, it's feeling very boring. I'm fresh out of bed, levels of crusty. I would like to be a YouTuber who makes really aesthetic shots of like them waking up, getting out of bed in their matching pajamas, them making, I don't know, overnight oats or whatever, but I'm just, a mess. I'm not a mess actually, but I'm, yeah, just tired and gross. What happened was my brother and sister-in-law came over and it was very nice, but my brother, just like me, cannot communicate for the life of him. So he implied that they were travelling and they just needed somewhere to stay. And then my sister-in-law was like, so we'll do this together, we'll do this together, we'll do this together. I booked this place and it like meets your dietary requirements. And I was like, oh, am I going? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, no, I was not told this. So they arrived on Thursday and went to a Peak District, which was lovely. But I got into my head about like, oh, like, should I feel like I really need to work. I didn't necessarily prepare to miss 2 whole days of work. Should I, I guess it's like not great communication, but I was like, should I say I have a meeting on Friday and therefore can only spend half the day with them and try and like spend some time working at home or working in a cafe in Manchester while they walk around. But I just tried to like chill and be like, this is not the end of the world. You can take 2 days. It will be nice. So I just haven't worked since then. It was nice to see them. They went home last night. So today is Saturday morning. But yeah, it was, I guess the reason I thought we weren't necessarily spending time together was because they were meant to come up a different set of dates. And then they changed it because they wanted to kind of change their travel plans. So I was like, okay, well, they know I have a PhD. They know I have things on. So if things are being moved last minute, again, it's just because they need a place to stay, not because they expect me to go around with them. But that wasn't the case. But yeah, there was nothing necessarily scheduled that really messed it up, so that's okay. It's now Saturday. We are going to a cousin's birthday party today, my partner's cousin, so we'll do that later on in the day and then we'll be back for the evening. I think I'm going to try and do some work this weekend, not in a punishing way, but I literally have like maybe 2 weeks left and then I'm going away for about a week. And even within those weeks, there are some days where like I'm going to weddings, or I'm helping with like trustee interviews, so it's not completely empty and free for me to work around. But in terms of work that I do today, it really will be basic filtering because I didn't even get to finish that task for this systematic review. What's been, I guess, helpful is there are just some papers that in the title make it very clear that they are using samples from outside of the UK, and my systematic review is UK specific. Even within that, it's England specific if possible. So it's nice to just like filter through those and know that they're out the way. I'm going to see how much of that I can do today, either in the morning or in the evening, and then see if I can download another search from a different search engine. Don't think I have time for it, but we'll see. And then, yeah, think a bit about, again, that professional development stuff. Oh, my voice is breaking. See if I can think about that professional development stuff, particularly in relation to public engagement. I'll do a proper update when I start vlogging again on Monday, because I think I'm going to end this vlog on Sunday and try and upload it. But some really nice things have been just that, like after sending out emails to see if certain academics or staff members could meet, they have been available and relatively optimistic, so I'm really grateful for that. But yeah, I'll do a full update on how things are looking and what I have going on. But for the rest of the weekend, the plan is to work, attend this birthday, work really lightly, and also just catch up with friends I have scheduled phone calls with. And then tomorrow, what am I doing tomorrow? Tomorrow I've got a piano lesson, or keyboard lesson, whatever. So I'm going to try and fit in practice before then. I'm going to go to boxing after that, which should be nice. I think the boxing's on. I appreciate the World Cup is on as well, so I don't know if they'll cancel it or rearrange it. And then I may go on a walk with someone. But outside of that, I just really want to prep for the next week and make sure things are tidy ahead of then, both metaphorically and physically.